Test,
die
test, test.
kostenlose Streaming-App für Charts, Dance, Hip-Hop und Throwbacks. Immer neue
Hello,
Playlisten,
hello,
immer live
Richmond
gestreamt.
and
Mit I
followers
Love
from
Radio
across the
und
web.
vielen
This
weiteren
is Live
Non-Stop
Vibe Coding
Music
with Will
Channels.
Melton, and I'm your host, Will Melton. So I'm excited to be here with you today and back in another vibe coding session. So got a little bit of a lag here, so I'm going to pay attention to that. Hopefully you guys are doing well out there in the world. I am trying to figure out what is going on with my camera. Anyway, this is a Channel RV production. I'm your host, Will Melton. I'm hopeful that we have a okay stream here today, but it seems to me like I'm having a little bit of a lag. So I'm going to try to catch a stream on LinkedIn really quickly and see if I can't find out whether or not that's just what's seen on my screen or if it's for everybody else. So thanks while I get this figured out here. This is a Channel RV production. I'm your host, Will Melton. All right. Yep. It's just me. All right. So let me get my volume adjusted here on the screen, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I'm building today. So I'm going to get into a couple of builds for some nonprofit organizations, and I'm going to get game application going today. I'm going to work on a tool to help people optimize images. But if you're tuning in for the first time, please hop over to studio.willmelton.com and you can follow along on my journey to build 52 apps in 2026. I have 34 logged here. We've got a few more to add to the mix, but always a little bit behind what we are showing on the list as far as getting that updated, but always pushing forward, and we'll again be able to add some more things to the list today. All right, so something else that I'm going to show you guys, just published this today. I have this 9-part series on the Nonprofit AI Playbook 2027 AI Playbook for Nonprofits. And check this out if you are working on nonprofit boards inside of a nonprofit organization or know somebody who does. This is going to be a really impactful read for folks. Quite an extensive read, but it really gives people the information that they need to understand, what's going on out there in the world. So hopefully that's going to help some people out. But one of the things that we'll talk about today is building a couple of tools that help nonprofits as well. So I'm going to come over here to Claude because Claude has been helping me write these articles. I'm going to get a new chat going here because my context window on this is probably pretty extensive by now, and I want to start over. And I'm going to work on a couple of things here. So one thing that I'm going to be working on is updating my games site. So OnScreenGames.com is the place where I'm putting all of the things that I'm building that are related to games. And so we have a new version of this site up now where you can actually build your own conversion widgets and games right here on our platform, so that you can increase your conversion rate, but then also we're going to be building some free games into this for people as well. So a couple of different things going on, but I'm going to talk to my phone for just 1 second so that you can, well, maybe we'll see how Lovable's doing today. So I'm going to pull up, see where I have, here we go. Another area where I believe games are going to be effective is in learning. learning games, and I want to put some effort into talking about that in our content, the effectiveness of games for learning, and create some articles that support it. And then I think we probably need to update the homepage to indicate that as well as a first step. One of the things that I built into this website, which is not something that I have done before, but it's something that I think is pretty interesting and something that I'll probably start to do going forward, is a content matrix. I'll show you what that looks like here in just a second, but let's see. Content matrix, here we go. So it looks like we have a decent amount of awareness content, some consideration, and some decision. All right, so in any event, I'm keeping all these tabs open here because I have to go back into these and make some optimizations for these articles. I have a couple of tweaks that I want to make to images, so apologies for this crazy array of stuff up here, but I got to get back to that work here in a little bit. Let me close out of some of these things, and I'm going to get into Claude because I want to start thinking about this other build. I want to create two games, actually. I want to create one game that is a AI readiness game for nonprofits and small businesses that leverages the articles that I've recently authored about nonprofit AI readiness. All right, let's see. All right, so basically what I'm doing here is trying to get some content out of this series of articles that I authored earlier today, so that I can turn that into a game. And I'm just trying to get all the information that I can put together in, start to think about the dynamics for the game. I haven't really settled on anything in particular, so I'm open to whatever we might come up with. But we do want to have it be something that's fun, that's fairly easy to engage with, and helps people to see where they might have sort of clarity of their shortcomings, or maybe they might not know anything at all, where we're giving them some education along the way and helping them to understand where they are positioned and what might be ahead for them, understanding what their accomplishments are so far. Dispelling myths, making it easy for people to understand. Um, it might be that this needs to be just for nonprofits because the focus is heavily on nonprofits and they have funding that's a little bit different than others. And if you're just joining me for the first time, I am working on a couple of builds today. I'm working on some games, and I'm going to build a free image optimizer. Right now, I'm just recording a voice memo that has all the details for the first game we're building, which is the Readiness game. So I've got the Readiness framework here. I'm going to paste that into the project, and we're going to get going. Let's come up with a work plan for just this first game. And I was recording a voice memo because I've had too many instances where the voice um, feature in these tools don't work properly, or the has some kind of internet switches, Wi-Fi networks, or whatever is going on, and it just loses it, and it gets so frustrating. While that's happening, I'm going to go and I'm going to start talking again. I have this. I need to create a work plan for a project that is an image optimizer. One of the most common mistakes I see when people publish content online is not properly optimizing the images, and they don't resize the images properly. And there's a couple different size requirements depending on whether something's to be in the body of an article or if it's the hero image and it needs to be wide, full screen, whatever. Um, but these things usually happen in batches. The same thing is going to happen pretty much across the array. We need to know whether the image is horizontal or landscape to be able to set the dimensions that are appropriate. We need to have some auto recommended settings, but also have some different settings that people can set. And then also have it so that people can customize the settings per run if they wanted to. I want to have some of the settings be for reducing image sizes, the images of people and landscapes and things down to the smallest size without losing quality. But that changes whenever you're dealing with graphics that need to maintain a higher DPI for Retina displays and HD monitors. So those ones have to be treated a little bit differently. But the goal is to always reduce the size of the image properly. I think another thing that needs to happen is that we need to be properly naming the images, giving them additional EXIF data where appropriate. We certainly can attach location data to the images as part of the step, but just trying to think about all the things that we could do to an image to make it optimized and to make it something that could potentially be appearing in AI, appearing in search results, uh, influencing what AI understands about the article, influencing what search believes that we know or including in the article. We'll think about other considerations for this, but the goal is to make the workflow super simple. Perhaps we can connect to Google Drive as the place to output the files at the end of the run, or no, we'll just download for now. The other thing I want to do is I'm going to wrap these in advertisements. for a couple of products that we have, OnScreenGames.com, Exponent21.com for AI SEO or AEO services. And then I want to have another one for Carl Intelligence where people can track their presence in AI. We'll kind of keep it dynamic, rotating through different messages on a rotation occasion, slider style, I guess, countdown. And then maybe have a static one that's the... Actually, what I'll do is I'll include a widget for the Carl Intelligence that sits and hovers over the bottom of the thing. But we can still have ads for it in addition to that bottom left widget that we have. The goal is to make this a free tool for folks to use and to help us get some exposure to our various products and solutions. One of the things that you'll notice about me is I have a lot of sort of consideration for how things overlap and how things influence one another. And so I'm constantly trying to think about how to cross-pollinate these things to get the most out of it. So, new chat.
You're tuned into channel RVA, the media hub for independent creators. Subscribe at channelrva.com.
This is a pretty simple work plan, so I can use a lighter model. I might have considered using a heavier model over here for this. I think it would make sense to expose people to Liberating Facilitator tool as a part of this because it can be a helpful way for people to get exposure to the other free tool that we've created for discovery. I think that this is a decent structure, but I think we need an appropriate work plan that we can give to Lovable. We're going to build this into OnScreenGames.com. Maybe Liberating Facilitator can be like a promotional thing that is wrapped or on the bottom of the actual game itself. It can be, certainly sponsored by that as just like a banner ad or something. This will be a standalone game inside of OnScreenGames.com, and we'll put some routes to it from the menus. It's not going to be a portfolio item. It's going to be an actual game that has a functional existence. So separate it a bit. We can put it in our portfolio for sure, but it's not the same thing as the portfolio item. It's an actual game. And as far as the lead capture goes, I think what we can do is it would be appropriate to do a readiness report that we email to people. It can be branded Exponent 21. It can include suggestions for using Liberating Facilitator or hiring us to come in and help them with the discovery. And yes, it can go into Exponent 21 Grow the way that the OSG quiz does. All right, cooking over here. All right, well, let's see how we do with this. I've got OnScreenGames here now. All right, so I'm gonna upload this work plan that we have. I have a work plan attached to this chat that is inclusive of a new game that I want to introduce that is an AI readiness game that helps nonprofits assess how ready they are for AI adoption, where they stand in the sort of the ecosystem. So we can add this to the product roadmap as planned so that we can execute on that. All right. So, and if you are hanging out with me and you're not, you haven't been around for a while, I'll show you my product roadmap, which is what I'm doing here to save time and to be able to execute faster. Oh, I attached the wrong plan here. I got two different things going. Here we go. Okay, so we're loading up the roadmap with the work plan for the new game. We have this plan. This is what I wanted to do. It's going to be a new lovable build. I'm trying to think if there's another place that I want to put this now that I think about it. I have a bunch of tools that are already tied in with some of my CRMs, and so I'm thinking about maybe just tapping into something that I already have. Hey, how's it going? Hanging in there today. Just doing my ADD vibe coding session where I'm building 3 things at once and trying to figure out what is the best thing to do. The image optimizer. I just built something new, that's fine. All right, so I'm gonna load up this work plan that I got out of Claude. Paste this other thing that I just, let's see. Here's a new work plan. I'm gonna give you my original prompt that I gave to Claude for this work plan. And we can go ahead and get to work. Okay, so I'll let that do its thing. I probably should have corrected some of the text there, but I think it'll figure it out. AI is getting better all the time. This work plan is done. It's moved over to Claude, to Lovable, so that's where that's going to be working now. This is Readiness Game for nonprofits, and I'm going to stay with this context window. Actually, no, let me see what I want to do. I'm going to start a new context window. Let me just give this verbalization. One of the other things that we need to do is create a tool that allows employees to learn the AI policy that their organization has adopted through a game. And the way that should work is it needs to both give them the education on the policy itself. The employer should be able to upload the policy and initiate the game. The game itself should then teach the employee the policy, and then it should also quiz them on the policy at the end. I haven't built any educational specific games, so I'm not quite sure where to start with this one, but help me think through a work plan to make this a fun game that is effective for learning retention. So games have a lot of value, a lot of utility in our lives. And so they can unlock a lot of potential. And so I've been spending a lot of time in my mind thinking about games as a means for connecting with audiences and being able to give them a sort of a friction-free pathway to adoption of information. We definitely want preview. Yes, on the Lovable Claude API pattern. PDF certificate's good. I'm going to make this part of OnScreenGames. All right, so we're about 30 minutes into the build here today. Here's what we've gotten done so far. we have a sprint that we can assemble to build the AI readiness game. Backlogged items should never go into the sprint queue. Auto assemble sprint should never call on them. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a fix that I need to make happen, because part of the roadmap functionality is that I can load just the ones that are planned. The product roadmap is not supposed to capture backlogged tasks, but it is. Please fix it. So anyway, it's supposed to be able to capture any of our planned tasks so that I can click this execute sprint button and paste that into the agent. And that is going to allow me to execute 8 tasks instead of 1. And that's going to save us a lot of time in navigating this and going back and forth. So that is OnScreenGames' first game that we are building actively. And then here is the second game that we're going to build today, the AI learning policy tool, AI policy learning tool. And then the image optimizer, which right now is waiting for approval. I'll say go ahead because we've defined what this is supposed to be, and we'll see how it goes. Oh, okay, so I'm just reading through some of the content that we have in here because it's been a little while since I have perused this site. There's a lot of stuff that I have to do on this site now that we've made some changes to it, but that's just part of the work. I start these projects, I never intend for them to get really big, but they do sometimes. Sometimes they grow in scope, and I'm always looking for a place to put things. And just for the sake of it, we'll be counting each of these today as individual apps. So 2 games and 1 image optimizer are going to bump my numbers up there a little bit. If you've been hanging out with me, you know that my desire is to not to do this every weekend for the rest of my life. It is a temporary thing here in 2026. But I'm having a good time, and I'm learning with all of you. Go check out channelrba.com if you're in the Richmond region. Do me a favor and subscribe to that. You'll help me help raise some money for Browns Island. We're raising $5,000 up to $5,000 for them. And there's always more stuff I could be working on. I've got a lot of work to do on this website. designing a new home page. I might work on that tomorrow. Doesn't count against my numbers, but it's all right. It's one of my biggest sort of pet projects, if you will. It has used the most credits in Lovable, and it has taken maybe the most time because it's actively being managed and we're creating media. This is an old podcast that I've had for a few years, but just bringing it back this year again. And so you've got just a lot in the works. I'm always cooking on the original content game. And we've got folks that we're bringing into the mix, so other creators, highlighting them. A lot of fun. A lot of fun.
You're tuned into channel RVA, the media hub for independent creators. Subscribe at channelrva.com.
I want to have a location identifier, like click a button to find your GPS coordinates. People don't know what that is. All right. This is a pretty light plugin. I'm probably going to do something to make this a little bit different, but I'm not finding the mental inspiration right now to get it figured out. All right. So let's go to admin. Oops.
Dein neuester, bester Chill-Out-Place. I love Chill-Out Beats von I Love Music. Laid-back Electronic Lounge und Lo-Fi. Sunrise oder Sundowner. Chill-Out Beats. Discover I Love Music. An I Love Music channel tip. This is I Love Chill Hop.
All right. This is pretty cool. The emailed readiness report isn't nearly as attractive as what we see on the page. It doesn't have any of the graphics. Would it make sense for us to create a PDF attachment? We also need to make sure that the admin has access to these things. I'm not sure if we had a full plan on the admin side to be able to see data associated with this. All right, so we'll keep that game going there. I have this work plan over here for AI policy learning tool. This tool, like I said, when I click show global defaults, there's no space between the global defaults window and the this run window or the banner cards.
You're tuned into channel RVA, the media hub for independent creators. Subscribe at channelrva.com.
I'm just going to get some of these ads a little bit more cleaned up. Let's see. Brand alignment. I'm including the screenshots of in the wrong window. I got the liberating facilitator one. I got Exponent 21. Car intelligence. Okay. I have attached the hero images, hero screenshots for the 3 brands that we have that we're promoting. I'm wondering if we can leverage these brand designs a little bit to influence our graphics in this. I think another thing that would be important in this tool is to be able to educate people about why all this stuff matters. I think we need to get the Exponent 21 logo into this site. Overall, this is like a typical React window where everything's just kind of aligned and filling up the screen, but it should be more like a website. Okay. Cool. Regenerate and resend an email client don't work. Or at least they did work, but I didn't actually see any indication that the button was clicked or anything was happening. All right. so there's a little bit of brand confusion on this because it is, this is cool. There's some brand confusion on this because it's OnScreenGames and Exponent 21, and this is actually a report for Exponent 21. There's no mention of the actual brand behind this thing. But no, this is just a test run going through this. How's it going? Dota 2 attitude. Okay. All right, so that one's cooking. We've got this thing is getting a change. I'm going to grab this. Close that OnScreenGames. We don't need that open. Move this guy over here so we've got these guys a little bit closer together. I'm going to cook here for about 5 more minutes and then I'm going to take off for the day. It's nice outside. Want to enjoy it before it rains. I don't know what that is. All right. Okay. So, close out of these windows too. Those are just screenshots that I pulled. And, oh, that's kind of cool. It doesn't appear that my banner ads have been updated at all based on the designs that I provided to you. Please remove the dot from Image Optimizer. This doesn't really look good. Could be improved a good bit. But yes, I provided you with the screenshots for my different brands that we're promoting here. I need you to pick that up. All right. Okay, good. All right, so that is now ready for this guy. I'm going to go ahead and load this up into the product roadmap. Let's go ahead and add this to the product roadmap. And when I do this, I go and get my original prompt, my original voice prompt. And I post that. Where's my original? All right. Okay, so I have a new prompt going into the product roadmap here that will help us build out this next game, which is the AI policy game, which is designed to help employees understand what the rules of engagement are for AI in their workplace. And we'll build that up here pretty quickly too. So by the time this weekend is over, I'm going to have 2 games, one to assess your AI readiness and one to train employees on your AI policy. I suspect we'll probably also build an AI policy generator, as it would only make sense.
tuned into channel RVA,
but
the media hub for
not
independent
part of the
creators.
plan as of now. It's
Subscribe at
really just kind of creating some of these
channelrva.com.
wraparound tools that we do. We can add some value without a lot of investment in tooling. The policy, I don't want people to get the idea that a policy you generate with AI is going to be sufficient. It's very possible that it is, but it also really needs the attention